What's up, y'all? This is Daniel with Pride of Southland Kennels. Today's video and topic is going to be over the difference between the American Bulldog, the American Bully, and the American Pit Bull Terrier. This is a conversation that I've had a lot, to be honest with you. A lot of people come see their dogs, don't really know a whole lot about dogs. They refer to my dogs as pit bulls. And I can't tell you how many times that I've had people send me an email with a picture or a message on Instagram of a picture of their dogs wanting me to evaluate their dogs, calling them American Bulldogs, and they're actually American Bullies. Had a guy just actually last week or the week before tell me that he was getting an American Bulldog and wanted me to give my opinion on it. And he sent me some pictures, and they were tri-colored American Bullies. So today I got a comment which I thought was kind of a smart ass comment. I don't know what the guy's intentions were. He said he wasn't trying to be rude, but I kind of felt like he was. Maybe I was wrong by that, but he was telling me that I needed to stop using the term bully. So I'm going to post the NKC standard just so everyone knows. The picture that I'm about to post on here is the standard of the American Bulldog in the NKC. Those of y'all that don't know, the NKC was the first kennel club to register the American Bulldog. Yeah, some American Bulldogs were registered before that with the Animal Rights Foundation, but they were not American Bulldogs yet. I'm going to read this comment real quick, and I will post it. So please, if you don't mind, take time to pause the video, read the comment. If it scrolls too fast, I'll try my best to put the comment up where everyone can read it. But I'll also read it here real quick too. So, quote unquote bully and quote unquote pit bull are terms that just keep getting thrown around, get watered down, come to mean more and more different dogs, and then it becomes what's vogue for the perennial vets to say, quote, it really isn't an actual breed, it doesn't exist. It's just a classification, end quote. Just call a Scott, painter, a painter, Johnson, a Johnson, etc. And if it's a cross, just call it a cross. What's so difficult about that? You want to perpetuate pure bloodlines, that's commendable, but you're falling right into following along with this dumbed down generic terminology for describing differences in breed type. Please stop saying bully. This is turning into, quote, the artist formerly known as Prince, end quote. Stop it. Now to me, that's a smart ass comment. If you don't want me to use the term bully, then I understand that. Say that in a different manner. I'm the type of person, you approach me in a respectable way, I'll be respectable to you. Of course, I didn't have too many nice things to say back to the guy. But then as soon as I said something, like a typical person, someone that likes to be a smart aleck first, when the person has a backbone and responds back to them, then they want to backpedal. They want to backpedal and say, well, I wasn't talking to you. So you're on my channel commenting on a video using the word you, using the word your. I have no other reason to believe that you're not talking to me. So the problem that I have with that, with you telling me, or anyone out there telling me, because it's not just this guy, I've had this conversation a few times here lately. The problem that I have with it is I didn't write the NKC standard. I didn't separate the two standards. If you have an issue with that, please email the National Kennel Club. Please email American Bulldog Association. And when enough people get their dogs registered with American Kennel Club, and the Johnson or the bully type people want to enter that, they can do that as well, and there will again be two standards. I just spoke with a guy the other day, Bruce Huffmaster, which is the one, him and his wife, which are responsible, with I'm sure the help of others, getting these American Bulldogs into the American Kennel Club. So, back to why I have a problem with someone telling me to stop using the term bully. Is in my last video I spoke about me going to Alan Scott's yard and Don Matthews' yard. Several other people around the country, around the world have done the same thing. I'm not special, but the reason why I bring that up is I heard both terms and both men use both terms, referring to dogs as standard, referring to dogs as bully, referring to dogs as standard hybrid and bully hybrid. So, if Alan Scott and Don Matthews can do it, why can't Daniel do it? I don't write the rules or the laws. I try to follow them. That is why I have an issue with it. Let me read you another comment that this person, don't know whether it's a man or woman, but he goes on to say, pardon me, he sends me a link, of a American Bulldog video. Brian LeClaire, I believe it was. I've watched the video before. He's talking about bite work on dogs and things like that. Can't remember exactly what's in the video, but I know I've seen it several times on the DTP channel, I believe. He goes on to say, he says it every way except bully. Because back then, we probably didn't have the American Bully yet. But either way, it's a different breed. Different in all caps. Look, I've never referred to an American Bulldog that's registered as an American Bulldog as an American Bully. When I use the term bully, I'm referring to the bully type American Bulldog, which was formerly known as a Scott type, or excuse me, the Johnson type. The standard type now you have that used to be referred to as a Scott type. Did you know that there are some standard type dogs, which you would refer to as Scott type dogs, out there that do not have Scott blood in them, or George Lee Williamson, or W.C. Bailey, or even Mr. Johnson? Did you know that? They changed this for a reason. I wasn't there when it happened. All I can do is pass on the information that I've been given from reliable sources. The reason that I was told they changed it is because there was confusion around the Scott type and the Johnson type. When you hear the word Scott type and you looking in your dog's pedigree, you probably expect to see the word Scott in there somewhere. Sometimes that's not always true. Doesn't mean there's not Scott dogs in there or dogs in there from Scott, but people change their name. They add their kennel names, they add their names to them. Things like that, vice versa with Johnson. So they decided to separate them into the standard and the bully. I didn't do this, man. I'm just following in the footsteps of the pioneers of this breed. Another thing that he said, I'm reading these from my phone so I can read them to y'all. This was an example of why he's telling me I shouldn't use the word bully or the term bully. Philly Craigslist ad for standard American Bully just now. That's what he says. It's a standard, and then he puts in parentheses Scott, so he's using the term standard now, American Bulldog. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're looking for an American Bulldog, you have to put bully into the search. Shouldn't be this way. Is this simple and clear enough? Question mark. I don't know this guy's or this person's tone when he's leaving these comments, but he sounds like a smart aleck to me. If you're a smart aleck to me, be a smart aleck back. If you're respectful to me, I'll be respectful to you. Treat me how you want to be treated. We'll have no issues. If you have something to say that you don't agree with or that you disagree with that I've said, that's fine. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I'm fairly new to this breed. But what I do know is the differences in a pit bull which is an American Pit Bull Terrier, which I said in one of my videos on this series, I don't believe in using, or people using the term Pit Bull as an umbrella term and lumping other breeds in it. So if you watch that video, you would know that what you're trying to get across, what you're doing in a smart aleck way, I agree with, but you decided to come on here and be a smart aleck. So I'm gonna give you your 15 seconds of fame. Another reason, before I get too far, is I didn't even know you could sell dogs on Craigslist, but I have noticed on other websites in the past when I have been looking for dogs, when I didn't know the sources of this breed or didn't feel comfortable with going to Alan Scott or going to Don Matthews, I was looking out there and seeing what was out there and where I could find a dog, because I really didn't know where to look. So American Bully is honestly probably one of the most bred and most popular breeds out there. Don't you think it was feasible to think that the person knew they had an American Bulldog, but they decided to put American Bully on there so more people would click on it because they really want to sell that dog or that pup? Is that so hard to think? That happens all the time. It happens vice versa with the American Bulldog. You look on ads online for American Bulldogs and it's an American Bully. I can promise you one thing, as long as there's people that walk the face of this earth, you'll always have stupid people. We can't fix that. We will never change that. And I'm not saying that to be, you know, mean to anyone. There's just going to be people out there that lack common sense. Sometimes they just do it intentionally. Sometimes they just don't know any better. What else do I want to cover? I just want to make it clear that I do know the difference in an American Pit Bull Terrier and an American Bulldog. I've never referred to any of my American Bulldogs as Pit Bull. I refer to them as standard. I used to refer to them as Scott until I was corrected by a few people that's been involved with this breed for as long as I've been alive. I've never used the term American Bully to describe a Johnson type or Bully type American Bulldog. I know the difference. If you follow this channel, instead of just responding and replying all your thoughts on me at once from watching one of my videos, you would know that I actually did start off with American Pit Bull Terriers, and I what's the word I'm looking for? For a short amount of time, I guess you could say, I did own American Bullies. The breed was too confusing for me when I was at that age. I was in my early 20s. I was transitioning from American Pit Bull Terriers to American Bullies. Really, I was uneducated, and I was seeing a different style of dog that I liked a little bit more. And the Pit Bull people, the American Pit Bull Terrier people, I guess I gotta say, you know, they shunned me. They were saying that dog's not an American Pit Bull Terrier, that dog's an American Bully. And this dog at that time was about 19 inches tall, weighed 52 pounds, and he was just a little thicker than some of the American Pit Bull Terriers. But honestly, nowadays I see dogs that are still ADBA registered that look that way. That dog was an ADBA dog. So I thought, well, if I'm getting ADBA dogs, they should be American Pit Bull Terriers. They're not the same as the UKC. So I just decided to run with it. I own American Pit Bull Terriers and American Bullies. Had some Razor's Edge dogs down off of Remember in Cairo. So, you know, look, man, I'm no Floyd Boudreaux, no Maurice Carver, no Dave Wilson, no Alan Scott. I'm none of those guys. All I can do is follow in the footsteps of the leaders that, you know, revive this breed and things like that. I don't claim to know it all, but if you're going to sit there and try to explain to me that an American Bully, or if you're going to try to explain to me that an American Bully is different than an American Bulldog, I'm years past you on that, buddy. I mean, you know, and that's not to just keep talking about this one comment, because that's not the video, that's not the reason for this video, but I do have several people. I've had people locally come to me and ask me for American Bullies, and I'm like, I have American Bulldogs. Now, I can understand for the average pet owner that's new to a breed and they want an American Bully, how they could get confused with an American Bulldog because of the name. There's some people out there that actually think they look the same. Now, American Bulldog was said to be infused in some American Bully bloodlines, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But you know, I had a guy come over to the house the other day to do some work for me, and he said, "Oh, you got American Bullies?" I said, "No, those are American Bulldogs." "Well, I have an American Bully, and it looks just like some of those dogs you got." And I said, "Well, no, American Bullies usually look different." He said, "Well, it was a $3,500 dog, but I got it for free." I said, "Well, probably wasn't a $3,500 dog then if you got it for free." But I mean, that's just another example of people are uneducated. It's not their fault. I don't claim to be better than anybody. I do try to do my research. If there's anything that I put on this channel that I come back to find out I was wrong about, try my best to correct it. But I've learned from my mistakes in the past. What I do is I try to gather information from reliable sources. If Alan Scott and Don Matthews, Bruce Huffmaster, Lemuel Miller, if those aren't reliable sources for this breed, then I don't think I'll find any out there. Those are some of the people I've talked to. Talked to several other people that are just enthusiasts of the breed, I guess you could say, or fanciers that's been around this breed for 20, 30 years. And I talk to them on a regular basis and pick their brain, and sometimes I may even be able to tell them something that they haven't heard, but most of the time it's me listening to what they have to say. So I guess I'll just end it with a quote that a wise man once told me. "You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should listen twice as much as you speak."